Good evening. I'm going to start with my name. It's Allen, A-L-L-E-N, last name Banks, B-A-N-K-S, Police Chief, Round Rock. So I appreciate your patience. Tonight we want to be able to give an update in regards to the shooting that occurred at Old Settlers Park last night in reference to the Juneteenth celebration. I gave an earlier press briefing. I did not have a description, or at least an accurate description of the person that we were looking for. Tonight, we'll give that description. We are looking for a black male, 5'7", thin build, approximately 19, 20 years of age, with short dreads, and he was last seen wearing a white hoodie. We ask that if anybody has any information or comes in contact with the subject, to please notify us immediately. Do not approach, as we believe the subject is armed and is dangerous. ATF is offering a reward of up to $5,000 for the successful arrest of this subject. I also want to release how many subjects went to the hospital. We had 14 victims that were transported to area hospitals. As of this press briefing, most of those victims have been released from the hospital. The remaining victims are in stable condition and are expected to be released anytime within the next day or so. We are thankful that there were not more serious injuries with those victims. As the park was crowded during this Juneteenth celebration, we very well could have been facing much more casualties. As a tragedy as it was that we lost 2, we're very disappointed, we're very angry of these events. This is the 16th year of this Juneteenth event here in the city of Round Rock. And for someone to destroy that peace and destroy the celebration in just an instant angers me. But I could tell you, Round Rock is a strong city, strong community, and we're going to hang together. We will get through this. Our prayers go out to the families of our victims. Our condolences go out to the families of the deceased. I am not going to release the names of our deceased tonight. I will release those tomorrow. I currently have detectives at the families' houses right now speaking with them. So out of respect for those families, I will not release any identifying information on the 2 deceased victims. I have Mayor Craig Morgan with me here tonight. He's going to give a few words, and then I'll finish up with any questions that you may have. Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Craig Morgan, Mayor of Round Rock, C-R-A-I-G-M-O-R-G-A-N. Our hearts are broken by last night's tragic events. We grieve with the families who have lost loved ones and stand with those who were injured. We are here for you. I want to recognize our first responders. My ultimate gratitude goes to the brave men and women of our police and fire departments, including our dispatchers. Their swift actions saved lives and brought calm to the chaos. I also want to support our Parks and Rec department. Our thoughts are with our Parks and Rec department. They work tirelessly, constantly throughout the year to create joyful events for our community. We stand with them as they process and recover from this tragic event. As we know, we have crisis support resources. If you need support, please reach out. The Round Rock Fire Department's Crisis Response Unit is here for you. You can call our team from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. this week at 512-218-5501. Let me repeat that, 512-218-5501. They're ready to talk to you about what you're going through and what you can expect to go through in the coming days. And I'll end with this. Round Rock is a community built on safety, celebration, and unity. Don't think that this city is not unified. We must heal together, and we must not let fear define us, and we won't. Together, we stay committed to our values of creating a safe and welcoming community for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So in regards to victims that were transported or ended up at the hospital, they ranged from ages 10 to 62. And again, I will not give demographics, I will not give the makeup of those victims. Again, we're very thankful that at this point there are non-life-threatening injuries, all are in stable condition. We will continue to support them, follow up with them, and make sure that they're taken care of through this process of healing. As the mayor said, we as a community will continue to heal, we'll continue to be united, and we'll continue to push forward. Our ultimate goal is to find who did this and make sure that the families get justice. This is a senseless, cowardly act that does not belong in Round Rock. Our detectives have worked tirelessly throughout the night to try to find these subjects, interview after interview after interview, and they have vowed not to get up until there is justice. And me as the chief, I promise you, we're going to continue to work with our partners, state, county, federal agencies, to get the subjects or persons involved put behind bars. This time, do you have any questions of me?
Chief, are you looking for any other person aside from the male suspect you described?
So are we looking for any other subjects except for the person we described? Right now, it's an ongoing investigation. We're interviewing many, many witnesses. As you can imagine, this is a park with thousands of people. And so there's a lot of interviewing to go on to find out who did what, how this started, why it started, and why it ended up in a very senseless tragedy. And so anybody that was involved in this incident, we will hold accountable. We are working with the Williamson County District Attorney, and they are very aware of our and they are supplying us with unlimited resources that we need from their office as well.
With respect to the fact that this is an ongoing investigation, this individual that you've described that you're looking for, do you know whether that's the individual who fired the only gunshots, or is there a potential that other people did fire gunshots?
I think based on your statement, this is an ongoing investigation as we continue to gather that evidence throughout the entire park, and then we process that evidence. That will give us a better understanding of exactly what transpired, or at least close to what happened. So as I just stated, anybody that was involved in this incident that needs to be held accountable will be held accountable. If we find that there's additional individuals who were involved in this that took the lives of 2 victims needlessly and senselessly, we will hold them accountable. And that's also for the 14 victims that were struck by gunfire as well.
Is there any information regarding what the groups may have been fighting about?
As I stated earlier, we do not know exactly. That's what the investigation is about. And the investigation, hopefully, based on witnesses and anybody that we might take into custody, will give us a better sense of why this tragedy happened.
This may be you repeating yourself again. You had described them in the previous press conference as 2 groups. Can you explain what that meant? Were they a gang or something like that? Do you happen to know what the affiliation these groups had with one another?
Cannot tell you that at the time. We do know there's 2 separate groups that got into an altercation with each other. This investigation will tell us what it started over, why it happened, and again, holding them responsible and accountable.
And what message do you have to the community, because you said this person that you're looking for at the time is considered armed and dangerous? Is there a public safety issue at this point?
What I will tell you is if you come across somebody that fits this description, contact the police, dial 911, let us know where he's at, and let us approach. Do not approach the subject, allow us to approach. We already know we're looking for somebody who's fired shots in a crowd. Last thing we wanted is another victim and another senseless tragedy. So if someone fits that description, we ask that you call us and allow us to come out and handle that situation appropriately.
And just to reiterate, most of the victims that are in the hospital, you don't anticipate that number 2 death toll to go up at all?
We do not anticipate that number to go up. However, if there's self-walk-ins or when we get our final numbers from the hospital, we're also working with Travis County EMS and also Wilco EMS. They did transport, and we're making sure we got the numbers from them, and we're trying to be as accurate as we possibly can.
What kind of injuries were there for the injured?
There are multiple gunshot wounds to different extremities of the body.
So it'd be 16 total, 14 victims at the hospital and 2 that were dead.
That is correct.
Would you be able to attest at all to the level of security that was at this festival? We had seen folks on Facebook question whether or not security officers were checking for firearms, things like that. Is that something that you have knowledge of at this moment?
I do, and thank you for that question. So we had an operations plan for Juneteenth. Juneteenth is an open-air venue, which means that there is no security points. It is an open park with the stage in it. We had over 22 law enforcement personnel assigned to the event. Fire department and EMS was also assigned to the event itself. And so officers were spread out, volunteers were spread out throughout the park. We also have 2 Skywatch towers, which we had folks that were in the Skywatch tower overseeing the crowd as well. And so we did have security at the event, walking through, interacting with folks. But the bottom line is, regardless of the amount of security that we had somebody who decided to take matters in their own hand and kill 2 people and injure 14 other people senselessly. This isn't about the police, it's about those folks who were careless and could care less about somebody else's life.
Is there footage from the Sky Towers? I noticed that there's a camera up there. Do you have footage of the scene?
We do not.
Okay.
Do you know about how many people were in attendance there?
I do not. So the question was how many people were in attendance? I do not know how many people were in attendance. And did we have cameras in our Skywatch towers? We did not. We actually had people assigned up there.
Any information on what type of guns were used and how many rounds were shot?
No, sir, not at this time. I'll take one more question and then we're gonna go ahead and conclude.
What challenges were first responders faced with when initially the incident happened?
So the challenges we were faced with, first and foremost, is you had multiple victims that were there. The great part about it is every single one of law enforcement and firefighters that responded, to include EMS, did a phenomenal job triaging those victims and getting them to the hospital as soon as possible. We had officers putting tourniquets on, we had EMS, we had fire doing CPR on our victims. Priority was life-saving, and I couldn't be more proud of the way we in Round Rock responded to that. And as the mayor mentioned earlier, if there's anybody that was at this event that experienced any type of trauma, he did give a phone number. Please reach out and allow us the opportunity to help you. A lot of people don't see this type of stuff, and it's very tragic, and it lingers, and we want to make sure that our citizens get help through this as well.
Do you have a message for the suspect?
Absolutely. If the question was, do I have a message for the suspect? The message is, turn yourself in. Turn yourself in. You're man enough to carry a gun and pull the trigger. Be man enough to step up. Turn yourself in. Let's figure out why you chose to take lives and injure people. Thank y'all.